to Season 3 of the Happiness Mama podcast. I'm Heather Ash, a mindful mama, teacher, and coach at happinessmama.com. I'm so excited and happy to bring you Season 3, which is all about self-love. It's about loving ourselves in action and in truth, body, mind, and spirit. Thank you so much for listening. I'm so happy you're here. Hey everyone! Welcome to episode 21, which is about loving your body through exercise and eating well. Specifically, I'm going to share with you how I lost 17 pounds in less than 7 months, and how I've gotten in better shape through changing my eating and exercise habits in super easy, doable ways. So, if you're a listener, you'll know that I love to do bullet journaling, and thanks to my habit tracker charts that I've been keeping in my journals, I actually have a good bit of actual data about my weight and exercise and eating habits. I actually just spent like an hour nerding out and making an Excel chart that shows my progress over the past 7 months. It's awesome and pretty interesting and somewhat surprising, actually. But before I give you all those details, I want to back up and start from the beginning. So back in the 70s, I was born. Just kidding. Actually, that's true, but I'm not going to go back quite that far. Suffice it to say that I've always been happy with my body, happy with my weight, generally speaking, for which I'm very thankful. My weight has changed a little, of course, but not that much, at least and especially before having children. And then pregnancy happened. So I am a huge pregnant weight gainer. With both of my daughters, I gained a lot of weight. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it was around 50 pounds in each of my pregnancies. I'm a pretty small-boned woman, so this is kind of a lot. I do feel good about it, though, actually. But I'm just sharing this because obviously I definitely had some weight left over after pregnancy, as we all do, but I may have had more than some. I'm happy to say that I wasn't concerned about my weight postpartum. Losing weight was honestly the last thing on my mind when I had my first baby and my second baby. Meaning it just wasn't a priority early on to get back to my pre-baby weight. I lost weight fine, you know how you automatically just lose a good bit of weight right at the beginning. But I definitely didn't get back to my pre-baby weight for a long time. I'm talking years. But again, I was fine with my weight and definitely had other priorities in the early days and even first year, really, such as learning to be a mother and just trying to get enough sleep, for example. I ended up losing the last of my baby weight after my first daughter when I unexpectedly found myself going through my first divorce. So there's nothing like extreme emotional distress and stress to help you get in shape, I've found. I also do think that working out more and taking control of your body can be a healthy response to difficult times in our lives. And I did feel great about getting in good shape at that time in my life. And actually, another time in my life, at the end of a relationship, that also prompted me to really get in great shape. So it can happen that way, but that's not what we really want, right? So fast forward, and I found myself post-baby number 2, like 4 years post-baby, and I really wanted to get back in shape and lose some weight. And this was actually just last year. And unlike my post-divorce, post-breakup weight loss experiences, I'm very happy to say that I was and am in a beautiful, wonderful place in my life, and so this time was really different. Thankfully, this time of losing weight and getting in shape has come not from a place of needing to cope with stress or needing to have control over something, but instead from a place of peace and happiness and self-love. So yay! I'm very, very happy and grateful for that. So in the fall of 2016, which was last year, I just felt really ready to make some changes to my body. And I wanted to lose some weight and get stronger and fitter. I'm going to tell you how I lost 17 pounds in close to 7 months. First though, why? I think our why is very important. As I mentioned, I've always been at what felt like a comfortable weight for me, but at this point, post-baby number 2, I felt a little heavier than I really wanted to be. I just didn't quite feel like myself. And I really wanted to get back to what I felt was my normal weight. And when I'm at what feels like my true me weight, I feel great. I feel better physically, and I think I look better and just look more like me. So it wasn't that I felt not good enough because of my weight, but I did feel like just that the weight I was at was just not quite my true self. I've been going through a lot of personal growth over the past year and a half, especially it feels like. And one thing I've been learning or internalizing in a deeper way is that I really do deserve to feel and look my best. And I believe we all do. And beyond that, we all know that being at a good weight is healthy, and staying active and being strong is healthy, and eating well is healthy, both for our bodies and our minds. So it felt like I just felt really good about making some changes and losing some weight and making a bigger commitment to exercise. And I'm so happy with the changes I've created in my body over the past year. Besides feeling like myself again in my physical body, I also actually feel better because of how I'm eating, and I just really enjoy working out and exercising. Not that I do it all the time or anything. I could certainly do it a lot more, and you'll hear more about those details, but at any rate, it's definitely a win-win situation. My wish and hope for you, dear listener, is that if you're in a place where you would like to lose some weight or get more active, that this show will inspire you and give you some practical tips to get started. Okay, so let's jump in. There are two big contributing factors to my weight loss, and this is going to be no surprise. How I'm eating and how I'm moving. But before I give you the details on what I did, I want to share what I believe is the number one contributing factor to the positive body changes that I've made recently. And that is having a really positive, self-loving mindset. Thinking good thoughts about myself, accepting myself, doing what I can and could, and just keeping on going, even if I didn't always follow my goals and plans perfectly. This is about honoring yourself. It's not about doing this or anything from a sense of not being good enough as you are. This is about honoring you. You are enough. You're absolutely enough just as you are. And if you'd like to make some changes to your body, nurture your body, let that come from a place of loving yourself. Our worth comes from just being us. We are love and we are loved, I strongly believe. You are already enough just as you are. You are beautiful. You are precious. And as one of my favorite high school teachers, Miss Engel, used to say, you're a prized package made for a particular purpose. We all have moments and times where we don't feel that way, where we doubt our worth, where we don't feel good enough. Maybe we don't feel pretty enough, young enough, smart enough, capable enough, brave enough. Who knows, whatever enough. But the truth is, I want you and me to feel this deep in our bones. You are enough. You're wonderful. You're amazing. You're the only you there is, and you have gifts that only you can bring to this world. What I want is for you to remember and keep in mind your worth. And from that sense of fullness and self-love, enjoy honoring your body and your whole self for that matter, with the physical activity you need to feel and be as healthy as possible. And with, the good food choices that you need to feel and be as healthy as possible. Having this sense of deep self-love is a big part, I believe, of why I was actually successful in meeting my weight loss and strength goals. When you love yourself, you think good thoughts about yourself and what you're doing. That's the practical expression of love, is what we do and what we think. As you'll see later when I give more of the nitty-gritty details, I was not perfect in my adherence to my own goals and intentions. But you know what? I didn't beat myself up over missing workouts or extra cheat days or imperfect low-carb days. No, I actually felt great every time I actually did find time to work out. and every time I did follow through on my eating goals. And when I didn't, I had self-compassion. I had self-understanding. I love myself through that too. There were times I missed more workouts than I actually had. But rather than throwing up my hands and giving up because I just wasn't good enough and I had, not lived up to my intentions or anywhere near it, I just did it the next day or the next week without self-judgment. When I did find time to do it, I felt great about it. Basically, I said to myself, yay, I'm doing this. And I enjoyed doing it too. Having a self-love mindset helped me to just keep going and not quit. And I will tell you that it works. I have real visible results from my imperfect dieting and my imperfect exercising. You can let go of perfection, celebrate every little bit of living into your goals, and just keep going. Has it been a month since you picked up a weight, or went to some class, or did a workout video? So what? Do it today and know you are awesome. You're awesome even if you don't do it. So celebrate doing it. It's awesome to do it, even if you haven't done it in a year, okay? Did you eat some chips even though you were trying to really go low carb? Oh well, for the rest of the day, eat low carb. Don't quit. You deserve self-love and self-compassion. Eating well and exercising are just two ways to honor yourself. The very best way, the foundational way, is through thinking loving thoughts about ourselves. Okay, so with the foundation of thinking loving thoughts and remembering that you are good enough, let's talk about the changes that I made to my eating and moving habits. Okay, so first, the eating. I'm pretty sure that earlier last year, before the fall, I was eating low carb at times, and I had actually lost some weight from my all-time high, which I'm actually not even referring to in this episode. So I think probably from the beginning of last year, I definitely lost more than 17 pounds, maybe over 20 anyway, for sure. So yeah, I had really gotten up, to my all-time high weight, and that did not feel good. But anyway, so I had lost some weight just doing low carb, but I don't have data on that since I hadn't yet started tracking things in my journal. So in this show, I'm just focusing on what happened between the fall of 2016 and the spring of 2017. In November, I think, is when I switched from trying to eat low carb most of the time to specifically doing Tim Ferriss's slow carb diet. I think I first heard him mention his diet on his podcast, and then I read about it online. And then finally, I ordered his book, The 4-Hour Body, to read more about it. And I will tell you, I have loved the slow carb diet. Why? Let me count the ways. Well, first and foremost, I love that you only eat low carb 6 days a week. So every Saturday is my cheat day, and on that day, I can eat whatever I want. I think, honestly, this is the biggest reason the diet is so successful. It's just so doable. There's just this huge mindset shift and acceptance when you know that on Saturday you can eat whatever you want. You can have that carbolicious food that you're craving. It really has helped me to stick to my diet goals better, knowing that Saturday's coming and on that day I can eat whatever I want. So surely for 6 days I can really stick to eating low carb. So specifically on this diet, you eat low carb, you cut out sugar and white simple carbs like bread, potatoes, rice, etc. There's no fruit, although I personally don't omit berries because they're just so healthful and so full of fiber. And you can eat beans, and you cannot eat dairy. That was a bit of a change for me at first because I used to eat more cheese, but now I certainly don't crave it. On the other hand, I do eat some cheese anyway, but it is less than before for sure. I love eating when I'm hungry. I cannot stand to be hungry, so that's why I really have to do a low-carb diet if I'm going to diet, because I really like to eat, and I just can't go hungry. But with that said, I find that I'm actually way less hungry when I'm eating low-carb, because as you probably know, when we eat sugar or carbs, it just starts this cycle of hunger, and you just feel way more hungry than you would have if you hadn't been eating that carb. So yeah, it really works out well. I'm not really that hungry, especially when I'm, in a pattern of eating low carb. 2 things to make note of are to make sure that you eat some protein within 30 minutes of waking, which I think gets your metabolism going better and going sooner, and also make sure you're drinking enough water. I also want you to know that I have not been completely adherent to this diet, and sometimes I've had a lot more cheat days, or I've bent the rules and have low carb days that are not totally low carb, and that's all okay. Even with imperfect dieting, I lost weight. At this point, even though I'm in more of a holding pattern rather than trying to lose weight, I still eat this way because I feel so good. So I feel better, I have more energy, and I think I get sick less. Actually, it's wild. On my cheat days, I often feel completely wiped out, depending on how many carbs I've eaten, because of the sugar crash. On Saturday, we went to a birthday party, and it was so great. I loved eating all the carbolicious foods, but I just had to lie down and take a nap that afternoon because I was completely wiped out. It was like I'd been run over by a Mack truck or something. Also, now that I'm more just trying to maintain and I'm not trying to lose weight, I'm a little bit more relaxed about the whole thing. So if I'm on vacation or I have a special event, I'll just have more than one cheat day if I want to, or I move my cheat day. One other thing you could do if you're trying to lose weight and you're at the beginning of your weight loss journey and you're going to try eating this way, you don't have to have a cheat day. Like you might go 2 weeks and then have your cheat day if you want to. But I do think having the cheat days and not completely leaving them out, I think it's important because I think it's a huge part of what makes this diet so successful. And there actually may be something to it as far as actually losing weight as well. So I'm not sure. You can read more about that in 4 Hour Body, which I'll have a link to in the show notes. I also want to tell you, I don't really like that term cheat day because I'm not cheating. I don't feel like I'm cheating. I feel like I'm following the rules, but it is definitely just simpler to say cheat day than, some other term that I might have come up with. Like I thought about saying carbolicious day or something, which I like it, but carbolicious is a lot longer than cheat. So it's easier to just say cheat day instead of carbolicious day. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, so one other thing that's cool is that you can drink red wine on the slow carb diet. Yay, that's cool. Although you should probably not drink too much of it because that might set you back a little bit. So dietary changes are definitely the key to losing weight, and I personally saw really great results from eating this way, doing this slow carb diet. Yep, you can maybe read more in Tim's book, The 4 Hour Body. Also, I would just like to say, no, I don't think this is the only way or the only diet or the only way to change your eating that could be helpful. This is just what I did, and that's what I'm sharing with you. This seems like a great time to let you know that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a fitness expert, so before you make any changes to your diet or start any exercise program, consult your doctor. So there you go. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about exercise. During this time, I sometimes took walks, but my main exercise focus has been doing my weights. I really enjoy doing weights, weight training, and I've been doing them off and on for years, many, many years. And I always enjoy it, and I see good results from it. Doing weights is so beneficial. Not only does it make you stronger, it also helps build strong bones and increases metabolism, which also helps you manage weight. And not to mention, I do like having muscles. I'm kind of a small person, so yay muscles. And yay being strong, honestly. I have to be strong to pick up my daughter. In fact, just a couple of days ago, my poor little daughter had fallen down and skinned both of her knees and was so upset and it hurt. And so I had to pick her up and carry her up our concrete steps and into the house. And I felt so proud of myself for actually being able to do it because She is 5 now, and she does weigh quite a bit more than she used to. So, yeah, I felt pretty awesome carrying her up my stairs. So yay for strength, yay for being able to actually do what you need to do at home and, in your work and wherever you are. Okay, so in my weights workout, I work on legs, arms, and abs, and the entire workout takes about 45 minutes. I always work out at home because it's just easier and it takes a whole lot less time than going to the gym. Plus, I don't have to pay for the gym. And I also love it because I listen to my favorite music on Pandora. And that just makes it all the more fun and satisfying. My goal is to do my weights twice a week, but you know what? When I was looking through my charts where I track these things, I realized that I actually only did weights 3 or 4 times a month. So my goal was to do it at least 8 times in the month, So actually I did less than half or less than half of my goal even. But you know what? I have seen great progress. I can see my muscles. I know I'm stronger because I can carry my daughter up the stairs and I can do more reps more easily. And here's another very cool example. The other day, I was so proud of myself. We have this awesome, really cool, one-of-a-kind mountain here in Atlanta called Stone Mountain. And my friend and I walked up it. It's a 1-mile hike. And when you get close to the top, it's a pretty steep grade. And the whole thing is uphill, so this isn't just a walk in the park. I'll be honest, it was really difficult for me to do this hike. Partly, I admit, because of the amount of fun I'd had the night before, and partly because I really need to do a lot more cardio. But we felt like total rock stars when we got to the top because it was tough. It really felt amazing. Walking those last few steps to the very top and feeling the exhilaration of having reached the summit. And then, the view was beautiful. It was a beautiful, beautiful day. So, all that was wonderful and fun. But I was wondering, I was a little afraid. How was I going to feel the next day after this exhausting hike uphill, 1 mile uphill? But you know what? I was shocked and thrilled the next day when my legs were not sore at all. My glutes were a teeny tiny bit sore, but that was honestly barely even noticeable. I kind of was looking for something. I was looking. I was like, am I sore anywhere? But no, not really. And I am just still amazed at that. But on the other hand, it makes sense. I know why. It's, all because of working out my legs through my weights workout, So I just love seeing that these habits have such real positive results. Cause and effect can be a beautiful thing. I guess it could also be a bad thing, but in this case, it's a very beautiful thing. Before I move on to some practical tips for making these habits stick so you can see the results that you want, I will go ahead and share some of the interesting data that my habit tracker charts revealed. As you know, if you listen to episode 19, which you can find at happinessmama.com/19. I love having this new habit tracker chart for every month in my journal. So thanks to these charts, I can just look back and see the progress I've made, through the data that's in every month's chart. So I had made note of my weight, the days I ate low carb, the days that were cheat days, and any exercise that I did. So when I put all of this in the chart in Excel and analyzed the data and really looked at what was going on, it did reveal that I did lose more weight more quickly when I was more consistent with eating low carb, when I was consistently doing this low carb diet, and when I was getting in more exercise and weight sessions, basically when I was exercising more. But I'll also say that part of that increased weight loss, by the way, this was closer to the beginning of my weight loss journey that I'm telling you about. Part of that is that, you do tend to lose more weight when you have more weight to lose. So it does make sense that usually near the beginning of this whole process, you lose more weight more quickly. So there's that. And not surprisingly, as I continued on, my rate of weight loss slowed down. But since I was doing my weight workouts this, somewhat consistently this whole time, I'm sure that part of that was because I was not only losing fat, but I was gaining muscle too. Muscle weighs more than fat, so it makes sense that you sometimes slow down or even plateau in your weight loss if you're doing weights too. So just know that. Don't get discouraged if you find yourself plateauing, especially if you've been doing your weights for a little while, if you are doing weight training, because as you gain muscle, that does weigh more than fat. So your weight loss isn't going to the number on the scale does not tell all. It does not tell you how much fat you've lost. So anyway, that's really cool to think about. But what surprised me the most is just to see how infrequent my weight workouts actually were, and how, in spite of all that, I've seen real awesome results. I'm stronger, which I know because it's easier to actually do my exercises and I can do more reps. And I'm also about to move up to the next level for my leg exercises, so yay! And I also know it because I can actually see my muscles and they're bigger and more defined, which also makes me really, really happy. I also want to share a few more details from my journey so that you can see that I didn't follow my goals perfectly, but I still had success. So basically, like I said, my goal was to do weights twice a week. And even though there are actually 4.3 weeks in a month, we'll just say there are 4 weeks, it would come out to doing 8 weight workouts a month if I actually met my goal. Well, here is the reality. In October, I worked out 3 times. In November and December, I worked out 7 and 8 times respectively, so that was pretty awesome. And then in January, I only got in 4 workouts, and then in February, March, and April, I worked out, wait for it, only 3 times a month for each of those months. So, it was definitely not perfect, and I did not, I didn't meet my goal, which was twice a week. So it really makes me I was a little surprised by that. I didn't realize how, time just flies. So, and before I know it, a whole week has passed or more than a week, and I really better get in that workout. So imperfect weight training has still resulted in improved strength and muscle for me. So don't let missing workouts stop you from keeping on going. Of course, I want to meet my goals, and looking at the chart, like I said, has been eye-opening. And yes, I want to, I'd love to meet my goal every month, but still, just keep going. You will have results. That's the main thing. Just like in podcasting, don't quit. Just don't quit. Keep on going. Okay, so then as far as the eating goes, just as far as what the data. So in December, I ate low carb for a total of 27 days out of the month, which was really awesome, I will say. And from there, it kept going down, down, down. Like the number of days of the month that I ate low carb went, just kept going down. So from January to April, these are the days that I ate, the number of days that I ate low carb for each month. 25 days, 22 days, 18 days, and then 16 days. But listen to this. From the end of December to the end of April, I still lost 8 pounds. And I think that is awesome. I can't remember, I'm not really sure how fast people that are dieting lose weight, but I think this weight loss that I had was pretty slow. Like it wasn't super fast overall. And I also think that's actually a really good thing. I think they say you actually end up keeping your weight off if you don't lose it too fast. So I hope you found that somewhat interesting, the data, as I did. And otherwise, thank you for bearing with me as I shared my nerd results there. Okay, so before I say goodbye to you, I really want to leave you with some tips for how to make these changes into habits that are easy to stick to and easy to follow through on. Okay, so the first one is have a growth mentality. Start wherever you are, and that's absolutely perfect. Number 2, start small. One thing I've started doing is daily yoga, or trying to do daily yoga, okay? Not perfect here, not at all perfect. But you know what? what counts for my daily yoga is just a few tree poses. I will even count one tree pose, and I'm going to chart it in my chart, and I feel great about it. So if all you have time to do is 5 minutes of working out or half of your normal workout, then do that and feel awesome about it. Celebrate it. And that leads us to number 3, which is celebrate every little bit of success, every little bit of living into your intentions. So consciously think that thought of, yay, I did it. In other words, do not think to yourself, oh, I only did whatever, or I haven't worked out in whatever, and today I only did whatever. No. No. Life is way too short to think that way, and it's not helpful to you or anyone else. So, be happy and celebrate what you did do. And those are your marching orders. Okay, number 4, be inspired. So listen to podcasts, read books, watch movies that inspire you to eat well and move your body. I know personally, being inspired really motivates me to take action. So whatever you can find that motivates you, do that, listen to that, read that, watch that. Okay, number 5 is do exercise you enjoy. And it doesn't even have to be called exercise, and you don't have to do weights like I did. So, play with your children, run around being silly at the park, get on the monkey bars, dance in your living room to your favorite music, have fun with it. Go swimming, whatever you like to do, try to do that. Okay, number 6, use smart strategies for creating habits. For example, you can use anchors, you can schedule it, plan to do it with a friend, make public declarations on Facebook about it, leave your shoes by the door, whatever it takes. Number 7, make it extra fun. So just take it to the next level, like, listen to music you love, or buy a new workout outfit, or go somewhere beautiful to walk, or listen to your favorite podcasts while you're doing it. Whatever would make it a little bit more fun, do that. Why not, And number 8, just do a little bit. Which actually, okay, maybe that was number 2 also, but you know what? It's worth saying again. So even 5 minutes is better than nothing. And you might just keep on going, So just say, well, I'm going to do 5 minutes and see what happens. And number 9 is track it. What you track grows. And I think that's a big reason why I was so successful as I was, because I was tracking what I was doing. I used my habit tracker chart to check off, I would just check off, did I eat low carb that day? I would always do this for the day before, pretty much. Or sometimes I'd do it same day. But definitely in my morning routine, if I had not filled out yesterday's chart, then I would just fill that in. When I think about this, I'm just kind of still in awe at these results that I've had. And moreover, just how easy it seemed to be for me to lose the weight and gain strength and muscle. It's really been a joy and not a hardship, as it should be. I am so not into being miserable. And I think you might also notice that I don't think I was in a big hurry. I mean, of course I wanted to. I wanted to see results, but instead of stressing about that, I was just following my plan as much as I could without beating myself up when I didn't. And I think that really helped. I knew that results were not going to be immediate. I wasn't going to meet my goal in a day. But as they say, it's amazing what you can actually accomplish in a year or in half a year. So keep on going. So I'm really thankful for my experience with all this, and I hope that my experience and what I've learned will help you too. I've been wanting to share this for a while, and I'm happy to finally do that. Having this mindset of treating myself to good food and to exercise just because I deserve it, this is vital. So I've created a list of self-love, body-loving affirmations that you can use to help you remember the truth that you are enough just as you are. These are a great way to encourage yourself and help you create the thoughts that'll help you feel awesome and always keep going so that you can meet your goals and see the results you desire. If you would like your affirmations, just go to happinessmama.com/affirmations. And you'll get on the mailing list too, so you'll get reminders when the new podcast episodes are coming out. And yes, you'll have instant access to the Body Love Affirmations. I hope you've enjoyed episode 21. Yay, the first episode in the 3rd season of Happiness Mama, which is all about self-love. You can read the show notes and find the link to the 4-Hour Body at happinessmama.com/21. I do want to share another exciting development, which is I finally got the Happiness Mama Patreon page set up. So if you really enjoy listening to my podcast and you find it valuable, even $1 a month would be so helpful and appreciated. Also, if you support me and become a patron, I'd love to give you a shout out on the show if you would like me to. And you can check out the Patreon page and think about becoming a patron at patreon.com/happinessmama. So next time, I'll be talking about another aspect of self-love, and I just want to thank you so much for listening. If there's a topic you'd really like me to talk about, get in touch at heather@happinessmama.com. Also, remember, just go over to happinessmama.com/affirmations to get instant access and start creating that positive mindset so you can totally love yourself more and more and also meet your goals. And until next time, remember, you do deserve happiness. Love to you.